I don't usually talk about this, but most of us that are having a hard time in adulthood have trauma stemming back from infancy. This book, really cute title, really not cute book. Every page of it is pouring over research study after research study and example after example from this doctor's practice of how we're treated in infancy, like essentially shapes our brain and shapes our character. Every single page is like a veritable kick right in the root chakra for anybody that didn't have perfect love growing up. So the reason that I don't talk about this is because this book was so fatalistic, and it feels almost like something that is just it's too big, it's too far gone, it's too much to even address, right? When we're looking at how the first year of our life, you know, shapes the rest of our adulthood. So I personally believe in magic. I believe that we can really, there is the potential to like kind of do anything. And, I've seen it happen. I also think that all of the examples that we've seen coming up in the research on neuroplasticity, there's really a lot to base some skepticism over um, the viewpoint that these things are hardwired into our brains, because as far as we know right now, some things we don't think are capable to be changed once they're developed, once you're no longer in that developmental stage, which is what this book talks about a lot. Whew. But I think that like the studies on neuroplasticity and what we've seen of the brain being able to change things that we thought were hardwired for, as long as we've been studying brains, I think that that really calls into question believing that anything is hardwired. Like, I really think that the potential to change is definitely there. That being said, I approach things from a two-pronged approach. And I'm not a psychologist, and I firmly believe that psychologists are the best people, and psychiatrists are the best people to go to for their expertise, right? When you're suffering from like a mental illness that you can't control, when you're suffering from major trauma, like these are the people that you need to go and see. But when we're talking about microtrauma, and considering that 50%, when we look at attachment research, 50% of people are securely attached, which about 50%. I think it's like 51. But anyways, so about half of people were like not even given basic responses, like their basic needs weren't even met in infancy. So that's like a hell of a lot of people walking around with, I don't even know what you call it at that stage, whether that's major trauma or micro trauma or whatever, but there's a hell of a lot of people walking around with stuff from infancy. So assuming you're in a place where you actually like can take some agency and can take some control over the path that your mind takes and your emotions, etc. And I teach on this at like a great, like lengthy, how to, and I actually make tools to solve for some of these problems. But I think that coming from the vantage point that we can't change the past, I like to focus on incorporating the past into the future in like a positive way. So even if that is, oh, these bad things happened to me in the past, and I've been able to take the agency to make sure that I'm no longer in that situation in the present, and in the future, that makes me more compassionate to people who've also gone through that. Like, even that can be a way that you can incorporate um, the past negative experiences in a positive way in the future. And that's like from the vantage point of like, we can't change this. You make it part of your story in a way that where there's a happy ending, right? Even if it's just that you are smarter now, or that you are stronger against that particular harm, that you're not going to let it happen again. The other approach would be hypnosis. So hypnosis is not woo woo. There is a department at Harvard dedicated to hypnosis studies. It is um, probably it's probably the most powerful tool that we have to get into the unconscious, which is what is being developed at that age. So I make tools um, specifically for, goal achievement, getting over microtrauma, etc. That use hypnosis techniques. But if you're talking about something very, very, very specific, like a very specific thing that happened at one point in your life, talking to a local hypnotist or like somebody online that comes well recommended, and getting them to do a hypnosis for the specific thing for you, and then getting them to record it so that you can listen to it before you go to sleep and when you wake up, um, until you don't want to anymore, until you forget that you have to do it. That is what I would recommend. I also have a Zero to Hero course, and the Unstuck courseware is free, and you can sign up for that. I think you have to like follow the YouTube link and then find the link on one of the things there, on one of the videos there. But you can start getting unstuck for free with me, and I'll be reopening the doors to my membership in a few months, where I send people like tools, new tools weekly that I make. I hope this helps.